Hello, Ryan. Thanks for sending us a letter about the Frisco steam engine at the Museum of the Great Plains. You asked if we could give the locomotive another chance to pull coaches and freight cars, just like back in the old days. But before we talk about returning the engine to service, let us tell you a little bit about the 1526. The engine was built almost 100 years ago in 1926. It was a mountain type steam locomotive that could easily haul freight, but mostly pulled passenger cars. During World War II, the 1526 transported American troops and served as a hospital train. Presidents such as Franklin D. Roosevelt and Harry Truman rode the 1526 across the country during their election campaigns. When the Frisco Railroad retired the locomotive from service in 1952, the 1526 had traveled over 1,800,000 miles. That's a lot of ground to cover. Today, it would be hard, really hard, to get the locomotive running again. The 1526 operated day after day for 26 solid years and racked up considerable wear and tear. Steam engines require constant expert attention to keep them in proper working order. They need special or custom replacement parts, and they use a lot of fuel and water. So, after being parked for almost 10 years, the 1526 made its final run to Lawton on July 7th, 1961. By that time, diesel locomotives had replaced the older steam engines. Diesel locomotives are more powerful, efficient, and require less maintenance. At the Museum of the Great Plains, the engine began a new and different life as an exhibit for visitors, just like you. By the way, when the 1526 arrived in Lawton in 1961, the engine had to leave the main line and travel to the museum somehow. There were no tracks to the museum, so how did it get there? Two army tanks from Fort Sill pulled the locomotive very, very slowly. It's heavy, right through town. There were two portable sections of track used along the way. Just like walking, where you put one foot in front of the other, a crane would pick up the piece of track the engine had just left and would put it in front of the track the engine was currently on. Exchanging the two pieces of track, the crane made a temporary rail spur for the engine. But the process was so slow that it took several days just to travel a few miles to the museum. Spectators even set up picnics beside the street and ate casual lunches while the locomotive crawled by. A man named Archie Dunn filmed some of the process on that day here in Lawton. If you'd like to see a copy of the original film clip that shows the tanks, crane, and portable tracks as the 1526 travels down a city street to the museum, stay tuned at the end of the video. Thanks for writing, Ryan. It isn't many days that we get a request to fire up a 100-year-old, 88-foot long, 300-ton steam engine and take it out for a spin. Sadly, the days of 1526 rolling down the tracks are over. Still, being museum people, we preserve the 1526 for as long as we can, so that visitors like you will continue to think about those times when steam whistles signaled the movement of goods and people across the Great Plains. So please, Ryan, stay curious and keep asking questions. That's what we're here for. Montana is a bit far from here, but we hope to see you again. Have a good one.